Hello, my sweet friends. Welcome to the Art Cake Coach podcast. My name is Cristina Revalo. I'm a sugar paste modeling artist, a teacher, a coach for cake artists, Cake Friends Day creative community manager, award-winning cake decorator, and representative of international cake competitions. I'm so happy to have you here. If you are a cake artist, a cake enthusiast, or a baker who is seeking some help in anything related to your time management, social media management, setting your goals for yourself or your business, your mindset towards your business, or even a few hints of how to be part of the international cake community, cake collaboration, and cake competitions, you are in the right place. So welcome to today's episode. Hello, my sweet friends, and welcome to another episode of the Art Cake Coach podcast. Christina here. I'm so glad to be back. It's been quite a ride this past week after the episode, last episode number 43. Sorry, the story we tell about ourselves. It was a very personal episode, and it was moving for me to realize how many people it touched in the way it touched it. Funny enough, you always have like idea of the people this episode is going to reach, and when I get feedback from the most unexpected listeners about what I said and how it touched their hearts and they could relate to, and all of that is it's beyond words. And I wanted to dedicate this episode today. I've been thinking about doing one for a while, but I wanted to dedicate this episode today to the people that reach out to me, to those testimonials, to the ones that take the time to just write something back. Because I know I'm a user of social media and I'm a listener of podcast, and sometimes you really get touched by an episode or something that somebody says. You really relate, you learn, but taking the next step to sit down and write a comment about it or reply about it, it's not always the case. And I have to be honest, even me, I listen to many podcasters that I follow and I treasure everything they say. And when I received those comments that you send me, it made me realize that maybe even I hadn't taken the time to thank them too for what they give us, or they gave me, or how I related to their podcast. Because that's the next step, and that next step requires really, like, I'm going to do it. I'm going to take the time and just leave a started review or send a feedback. Sometimes even in a different platform, so you will have to be out of Spotify or Apple Podcasts and send your review in a different platform. And when that happened to me, when people did that for me, to take their time to give me an honest feedback, it really touched me. And if I can resume anything that has happened over the past weekend and the past week, and I will tell you very briefly the story, it's all about gratitude. Like I mentioned last week, I was going to take the weekend that just passed to do UPW, which is Tony Robbins, one of his programs, Unleash the Power Within. I did it. It was amazing. It was told to us that it's going to be life-changing. I think, honestly, and I'm being absolutely honest, the amount of techniques and information they give you in these kinds of programs is life-changing, but the only way that life is going to change is you do something about it. And one of the things that I realized that I was focused on during the weekend of UPW, and one of the things that I learned, and from many things that I learned, but one of the things that I learned was it all locks with the feeling of gratitude. Everything you do, everything you treasure, everything that moves you to do something gets like locked into your system with the feeling of gratitude, of being thankful. And all of that happened while the same day that started UPW, I received the news that my dad, who lives in Venezuela, and due to many reasons, I'm not going to get there into the political reasons or economical reasons, the health system in Venezuela, it's problematic. You have to, there is not public health that you can trust, so you have to go into private practice. Private practices are very expensive, and there was quite a big amount of money that needed to be raised in order to operate my dad. That it was overwhelming because everything was happening at the same time, and I reached out to people for help in the cake world and in the cake groups. And but when I reached out from the feeling of gratitude that I developed during this weekend on the UPW. Not that I was not grateful before, but I locked it. I realized how much that feeling was important in our lives, the feeling of gratitude. So when I reached to my friends for help, I did it from that point, from a point of gratitude and from a point of knowing the outcome that I needed at the moment and the reason why, and all of the things you work on this UPW. Not that I'm sending everyone or anybody in my cake world to do something like this, but it's just taking the time to do something for yourself at the end of the day, I guess, and to reach inside, to know you. And long story short, in just a couple of days we managed to get all the money. People were young, helpful, and again, what validated to me was the feeling of gratitude. It's like, okay, this just keep happening and keep happening. And I believe in I believe in giving back. I believe in keeping the chain of gratitude, and that's what I mentioned to all my friends who helped me. Actually, I didn't ask like, oh, help me, I need money. I was offering my classes and my coaching in return for help, and none of them wanted to accept it, which is a bummer because I would have loved to work with you guys, but I will do it any day. Anyway, one day. I was offering my classes and my coaching, and they were like, no, there's no need for that. You do a lot for us. You gave us a lot. So it was all around. So if I can resume all of the story, I know I'm getting personal again. Come on, Christina, this is a cake podcast. But all of the story is just to realize that everything revolved this past 5 days around gratitude. I could have focused on something different. I could have focused on the problem of my dad. I could have focused on not having the money. I could have focused on this weekend took time for me away from my family or away from my work. I could have focused on all of a bunch of different things. Sort of like I told you about the story we tell about ourselves last episode. But instead I said, now I'm going to just focus on this one simple feeling of gratitude. So today's podcast, what happened is I got behind schedule on the podcast for other reasons. Yeah, me with time management, I did get behind schedule. And I have a couple of interview episodes recorded, but they're not edited. And I just didn't want to throw just anything for the sake of anything. So I said, well, I'm going to sit down today, like I'm doing this right now. It's Tuesday, is the day the episode air. I'm just going to sit down and just pour my heart out because, this is what all this weekend has been about. And maybe you can take something out of that. And of course, I'm going to try somehow to link this to the cake world. And I will. I know exactly how to. Just bear with me on this episode. And yes, today is all about gratitude. So I'm going to start the first part of this episode giving back to all of you who have taken the time to send me your testimonials and to let me know how much this podcast means to you. So the first part of this episode is all about that. Stay with me. Just a very quick announcement, and I'll be right back. So yes, this first part of the RK Coach podcast is going to be a big shout out, a giving back, a gratefulness. I don't know if we can say that, but just being grateful for all of you who have taken the time and giving me your feedback. It was very surprising for me when I found a feedback comment about the podcast on my Instagram account, because people usually reach to me on Facebook when I post the podcast, but rarely on Instagram. And I was like, yay, somebody's listening. So big hug, big shout out, and big thank you to Maggie Heron Cake. Maggie Heron, I hope I'm saying your name correctly. You made my day. I mean, you totally did make my day. She says, thank you so much for putting your podcast out there. I enjoy it so much. It's so genuine and real. Just thank you so much, honey. I mean, you have no idea. You truly made my day, because it's me. This is just me. It's me. It's pouring my hair out and trying to make something positive and to give to the community of cake artists. And when you have your group of followers, they're usually your aunts and your mom and your husband, and they're like, yeah, you're doing great. Not to underestimate the power of family who supports you, but you're always wondering, are they saying it because it's their family and they love me, or are they really saying it because it's true? And having the validation from people like Maggie, who wrote, was like, yeah, maybe I'm doing something right. So it was very moving for me, Maggie, and especially because your comment came on a moment that, like I mentioned before, I was going through a lot emotionally because of my dad's surgery, because of everything that was moved into UPW. And I saw your feedback. I was like, okay, I'm doing something good. I'm doing something right. Thank goodness. So just sending you back all of the love that you sent me in your comment. Go check out Maggie's page on Instagram. That's as much as I can do for you, sweetie. She has beautiful cakes. And she has her cake business. I don't know where she's located, but I will be leaving the link of Maggie's Instagram page here so you can follow her and you can see what she does. She has this beautiful smile, and her buttercream cakes are amazing. I mean, they're so sharp, so pretty, just very beautiful work. So thank you, Maggie, so much for this, and I will be sharing your work with the world because you deserve it as well. Another shout out that it is to of course, my friends in the coaching groups. I think I mentioned it before. I have two private coaching groups on Facebook. You only have to pay 20 euros to be part of this coaching groups for a whole year. And we work different things from time management, goal setting. Right now, it's like I stopped a little bit because I needed to take care of a few things, like everything that's going on. But we're working now on the teaching part of your craft. And I have two groups, one in Spanish and one in English. I decided to separate things because it was really confusing to be speaking in both languages at the same time, for me and for the listeners as well. So I separated, and the group in Spanish is people that my friends are from different parts of Latin America and Spain. They are the best, and I really want, even though they're probably not going to listen to this and not going to understand what I say, I don't care. I'm going to say that they are the best. The spirit of Latin America. I'm from Venezuela and I moved to Europe, and it's a culture shock when you move from a Latin American country into either United States or a European country, because I mean they're different and people, good and bad. I'm not saying that something is better than the other. It's just differences. And one of the main differences that I find here in Europe and Portugal, where I live, people is way more closed. People is way more serious. They're not as open and as out there as Latin Americans. Even though even in Latin America, depending on the country, you have different personalities. But compared to Europe, it's like very different. And I missed that. I missed the family, the camaraderie, the being friend with your front door neighbor and leave your door open. We do that in Latin America. And if you are Latin American, you know that your neighbor is like your family. That's it. And here people is more serious. So I missed that. I missed that, sending you blessings every time and talking to you as you're their best friend. And that I got from my group in Spanish. I'm not saying that the group in English doesn't have it. I love my girls in the English group, and I do. But it's so much in return that I get from them that I wanted to give a shout out to their accomplishments. Because, I mean, Marcela, Caro, Karina, Cholis, Beatriz, Clara, come on, girls. You have achieved so much. I mentioned Clara before because she's one of the students that's very committed in her work. And the other day, what she said was that she has changed so much that now her child is applying the knowledge of time management and goal setting into his fourth grade life. I mean, what else can you ask for? I'm not only helping a mom becoming more effective and more manage her time correctly and setting her goals properly, but now her son is copying that because he's seeing the results in his mom. He says, my mom is more relaxed and more focused, and now she has more time for me. I mean, people, that made my day. That made my day. What else can you do but to help a mom and a kid bond in a positive way? That was like, wow. So yeah, I must be doing something good, I guess. And I want to send lots of love to all of the girls in my coaching group, because you're doing the work, you're putting it out there, and you're making a difference. And that's another of the shout outs that I wanted to give today. And last but not least, and I know you're listening, Emin, last but not least is for you. My dear Emin is a sweet angel that I found through the cake world. It's the sweetest soul with the best of intention in the world, but with a hard life. And even though everything that has happened to her, that I'm not going to say because it's not in my place to say it, but she has had some rough moments in her life. And even though that has happened, she always finds the way to see good and to seek positive and to seek compassion and to give back. So this shout out is for you. I'm going to start by reading a beautiful comment that she sent me. I hope I don't get emotional on this one. And then everything you said here, I'm going to send it right back to you. She said, a testimonial from my heart to yours. Thank you for your words of wisdom and your beautiful soul that makes you so unique. Thank you for making time for me. Thank you for really listening to my feedback and make me feel heard and seen. Thank you for your generosity. Thank you for sharing your valuable knowledge with all of us. For your advice, guidance you have given me till now, and can't wait for our sessions. Thank you for trusting me. Thank you for making me trust and help. My relief the tension I was feeling for a long time in just a few words. Thank you for really seeing me and your members in your groups. And beyond grateful for all the free gifts you give us to learn to manage our times effectively, like the time management class. In the past few weeks, I learned a lot, but there's not the only value you provide to us, dear Christina. You also give us the gift of your shining personality, your warmth, kind, inviting smile, and compassion. Crucial point: trust. Trust is not given but earned. Those are the qualities I look for in a coach. Knowledge can be learned, but how you make me feel like I'm worth and genuine way in a genuine way is something that can be taught or bought. You're someone who makes me feel like I'm worthy despite my challenging past that affects my present. Thank you for not judging me. I have a great deal of respect for you. I highly recommend you and your services to everyone who can use help from a qualified professional coach with a sense of humor and an amazing personality. Help with her creative cake decorating, small business, freelancers, and hobby bakers. You do not only get the help you need, but also less stress while working with someone like Christina. Thank you again for your advice and guidance when we need it the most. These words came to me in a moment of doubt, and she made my day. I'm getting emotional, guys. Sorry about that. I did had to stop and get myself together. Yeah, it got me really emotional. So, what can I say about something like this? When somebody gives you this gift, this is worth, I don't know, more than 1,000 millions of whatever you want to call it. Because the funny thing is, while I was reading everything that she said, my mind, my practical mind, because I'm very practical. I told you before, I'm a Virgo. My practical mind will immediately go to this. Don't believe in everything people say. It's like, yeah, right, whatever. But just keep going, just move on, and just keep moving. Just, of course, I mean, why not? It's like I don't stop to thank and to really acknowledge the gratefulness in these kinds of situations. And one of the things that I learned is during this past weekend, as I mentioned before, is the feeling of stopping and being thankful and grateful for what is given to you. It's what locks emotions like success, like focus, like motivation, like all the happy emotions that you can think of. It's like it's locked inside of you through gratitude. And I used to not taking the time to do that. It's like, oh, okay, yeah, you're welcome, thank you. Okay, let's just keep moving. Next, next, not in the bad sense. I say, what can I do next? Because that's what my mind goes to. And this person, by the way, she's starting her own blog, and as you can see, she's a very good writer. So I will be also leaving the links to her blog here. She is starting a beautiful project to celebrate art through kindness. She's curating a cake collaboration focused on kindness as well. And she deserves to be celebrated and to be as successful in life as she can be. Because when somebody is coming from a broken background, from a difficult background, and is able to find this amount of beauty in somebody else, that for me is the definition of an angel. And we are surrounded by so many angels, even in the cake industry, guys. And I'm not trying to force to connect this with, but we tend to focus so much in our cake industry into the negative competition. People's not supportive, or disloyal competition, or I don't know, prizes or whatever. I don't know. That we forget there are so many angels out there that starting in this path of sweetness because they're sweet. because there are angels, there are beautiful people. And it gives us perspective that we focus so much on what we don't have that we don't stop to think on, we don't stop to really realize what we do have. If you're just starting in your cake business and you think you don't have the knowledge, but guess what? You started. You're somewhere. You're baking and you're trying to sell your product. That is something. If you think that you have not the perfect technique to decorate that cake or to model that figure, look back and think about you before. Did you have that technique? Whatever it is that you're doing now, did you have that when you started? No. So appreciate it and learn and want more, but want more from the point of appreciation. I don't know if you're following me. Maybe I'm just rambling here today, but I had to start this week, and I had to start this podcast with this focus on gratitude. And Emin, my sweet angel, I am more than grateful for everything you said here in this beautiful review, in this beautiful testimonial, because you have given me the gift of validating what I do and giving me strength to keep doing it. And I'm going to keep doing it. I'm going to keep doing it with purpose. I'm going to keep helping people. I'm going to keep helping myself so I can help more people too. And all thanks to sweet angels like you that surround me. And I want to send another big shout out to the people that has moved during this past few days to help me reach out the amount of money that I needed to have for my dad to get his surgery. I did reach out to my community of bakers, and the response was so overwhelmed. And I am beyond thankful for everything that you have done, that I have the good news to tell you that we will be able to operate my dad this week. So, and it's all thanks to you. And as you have told me, we do it because what you give us or what you have given us. I give you, the only thing I can give you is what I already have. And I will keep getting more so I can give you more. Getting more knowledge, getting more value, getting more experience, so I can give you back as much as you are also giving me. Because it doesn't matter if it's $1, €1, or if it's 100, or if it's 10. It's the intention of giving. That's what's worth. So yes, this first part of the episode is all about giving back to the people who has given me through your testimonials and through your help. I will be sharing the links of these two beautiful souls here in my in the description of this episode, and in the second part of this episode, because there's a second part, I will be sharing with you the importance that I learned during this weekend, the importance of having a community and a peer group. And since nothing is coincidence, this happened just the week that Cake Friendster Creative turned 3. And it is all linked, of course, to gratitude. So it's all about gratitude today. And I'm grateful for cake. Aren't you grateful for cakes? I am. Cakes make me happy. So let's be thankful for cakes too. Stay tuned. I'm just going to go away for a little while so you can listen to some of our sponsors, and we will be right back with the importance of community and peer group as a cake artist. And today I want to talk to you about one of our sponsors, which is Saracino. Yesterday I had an amazing surprise when I received 2 beautiful cases of Saracino products, and I have to tell you, it has been a while since I used Pastel Scultura from their products, and I was so surprised of how good it was. I used it first, I think it was, I don't know if it was 3 years ago. I was new with modeling chocolate. I didn't know what I was doing. Now I have a little more experience with it, and the result is amazing. Not only because it has the softness and the malleability of the modeling chocolate, but it stays. I mean, if you model it and you leave it for a couple of minutes, it just stays the way you model it. But again, you can go back and change it if you want it. It's so good to when you want to blend two pieces together. I am amazed, especially because I'm not the one that uses modeling chocolate or anything related to modeling chocolate. Now, Pasta School today, Saracino has modeling chocolate and has this product called Pasta Scultura, and I have to recommend it 100%. If you're a fan of modeling chocolate, use that one because I know you're going to love it. And I have to thank my friends at Saracino for all the beautiful products they sent yesterday. I recommend them because I love to use them and I know they work. My go-to for all my cake collaborations, for all my cake competitions. I do not do any serious modeling piece without a Saracino pasta model. So thank you, Saracino, for being a sponsor of this podcast. Thank you, Saracino, for the beautiful products you sent me yesterday. And as I always invite you to go and check on their free magazine, We Love Pastry, filled with tutorials from amazing artists, the latest news on the industry, and of course, all the information about their products. I will be leaving the link to their main page today because today is February 28th, and that means that their monthly magazines will come out tomorrow. So today I will be leaving you the link to the Saracino We Love Pastry magazine main webpage so you can check out all of their previous magazines issues and also wait for the tomorrow issue of March. Don't miss it because it's going to be amazing. Once again, thank you, Saracino, for being part of the Art Cake Coach. Well, hello, my friends. Here I am back to finish up this episode about gratitude. So I've been, talking about and telling you all about my 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 story this weekend. This week has been crazy. There has been a lot going on. Very positive, I have to say. Nothing negative, but there has been a lot going on. And it all comes down to that sense of gratitude. And the first part of this episode was the big shout out to all of my beautiful, beautiful souls and cake artists who took the time to leave me a testimonial and how important that is for me. And now I want to move on thinking about gratitude because when I think about gratitude, I can only think of Cake Friends Stay Creative. Casually enough, it was Cake Friends Stay Creative third anniversary last week. And everything happened during this week. It was crazy because I thought, well, 3 weeks ago we were in the middle of a pandemic and everything was hectic. And now this week everything is hectic again with many things happening. But especially because it was through a learning process. And in that learning process, a lot of things were mentioned. And I'm talking about the UPW that I took. But one of the things that were mentioned was that when you lock, you focus on what you need to focus, and that will be the outcome. I could only think of Cake Friends Stay Creative and everything that happened and how far it has gone. Then they mentioned the motivation. I was like, well, I was so motivated towards helping others, and look how far it took me. Then they were mentioning about gratitude. I was like, the only way I can identify a gratitude feeling is from everything that had unfolded after the creation of Cake Friends Stay Creative. And finally, they said, and one of the key things to apply everything that you have learned is to surround yourself with a peer group that is not only going to be a supportive community, but is going to push you to be better. And I was immediately thought, Cake for Stay Creative again. And it's crazy because everything, all the feelings of success, of gratitude, of peer group, of acknowledgement, of accountability, all of those feelings came from the same place. And I thought to myself, why? Why is that? Why? What is the importance? What is the message behind everything? And when I really grasped the idea of Cake Friends Stay Creative 3 years later now, uh, is if you listen to the first episode in this podcast, you think it's all about why it was created. It was the pandemic, helping people, all of that, blah, blah, blah. Great. But 3 years later, and that was one of the things that I faced in this anniversary of Cake for Stay Creative, was I want to get out of the stigma that we are that group that was created during the pandemic and we help people. We do help people, but it's not only about that. I want to be more. And in UPW, when they mention that peer group solidifies, it's like it it anchors your knowledge and your attitude and your action to move forward. I was like, yeah, that's it. Cake for Stay Creative is the peer group for everyone on the art cake coach, everyone in on that is part of, not on the art cake coach, that is part of that community, because it has been a trampoline, it has been a bouncing bed for so many of us, not just me because I'm the creator, but for so many of us to succeed, to be better, to get out of our comfort zone, to improve. People reached out to me and said, 3 years ago, I never even thought about having online classes. And all started because you offered me a spot to give a live demonstration here. I never thought of participating in competitions and winning awards or putting myself out there for a nomination on an international cake award. And it all happened because I saw you do it and other people do it in Cake Friends Stay Creative. And you made it feel familiar. You made it feel that we all could be that. And it's not just me. That's the thing. It's not just me. It's the group. It's that family, that peer group, and the solid purpose at the end of the day is to make you be better. That is what Cake Friends is for. Is that peer community, that peer group community that is going to tell you you can do it. You can be one of us. You can be part of this. You can get out of your comfort zone. That is the purpose of Cake Friends Stay Creative. And it was like an aha moment. It was like, and again, it all comes back to gratitude, to saying thank you. Thank you to each one of the members. Thank you to my admin team. Thank you to myself for thinking about creating this, or not thinking, because I wasn't thinking when I did it. Thank you to the universe for everything that have put in front of me. Because even because of that, when I was in a moment of need this week, all of my community helped me and were there for me as well. And I'm there for you guys always. So, yes, we do need that community sense. We do need it. Many years ago, many years ago, I'm going to tell you a secret. When I started in this journey as a cake artist here in Portugal, I wanted to do a little bit more. And I enrolled in competitions here locally, and I tried to get into other groups and into getting to know people in the same business, and trying to get familiar with everybody, especially because I'm not Portuguese. I mean, I do have the Portuguese nationality because my husband is Portuguese, but I wasn't born in Portugal. And uh, I always felt that I just couldn't get in because I wasn't one of them. That it was hard for me to reach because I wasn't one of them. I was like an outsider. I always felt like an outsider. And I felt so much competition, not in a good way. And I'm being absolutely honest. So much competition, not in a good way, in this between people. And that I remember clearly. It was my daughter was still baby, so that was about 11 years ago. I entered in a cake competition, here locally. I didn't win anything, but that was not the point. The point is that you could see that there were certain people had more importance than others, and you wondered. So, I mean, it happens. And I remember that day I thought, it has to be more than this. This is not it. I won't accept this. I won't accept not having a community. I won't accept people competing with each other all the time. I won't accept uh, not helping each other to be better. That's not me. And I said to my husband, it's like, one day, you'll see. One day you'll see. I'm going to prove to the world that this is not the way. That was 11 years ago. And I had the opportunity to prove that 3 years ago. And I think I did it. And I'm going to keep doing it. That's it. That is my flag. That is my quest, guys. My quest is to show that together we're more, we're better. We push each other. We make each other better. We make each other thrive together. Not in a bad competition, making each other better. There's room for everyone. And that, my friends, that is my purpose. That is my mission in life. And it doesn't matter if it's cake. It doesn't matter if it's in any other way, in any other medium or in any other industry. If I'm here, I am here to tell you that we can accomplish so much together than we can accomplish tearing each other apart. It's like, no way. No way. I'm not doing that. And I realized that. And it all comes back to what? Repeat after me. Gratitude. So, yes, that's why today's episode is about this. You're probably going to not want to hear me anymore. I don't care. Because I know that the people who wants to stay and listen uh, are the ones that I will be grateful for one day. So, this is me. This is the RK Coach podcast. But it's not always going to be like that. Actually, I have to say that we have two beautiful upcoming interviews. One with Maite del Angel, beautiful soul from Mexico who lives in the United States, resilient woman that has achieved so much and will achieve so much more. I have another beautiful interview coming with Mark Kevin Reyes, who has been in my pocket for a while now, but it's coming soon. Also, a beautiful, beautiful man that shows us how gratitude and humbleness can be the key to unlock a very successful future. And I have another surprise for you guys. Even though we're going to be talking about teaching next month, it's going to be all about teaching, which I'm very excited about too. I'm going to be talking about the elephant in the room. I'm going to be talking about selling, which is funny because that was the thing that I didn't want to talk about until I realized there's love in selling. And that was like, oh, love, that's me. I like that. So, we're going to be talking in a future episode as well about selling and about selling your cakes with love. Because at the end of the day, it's all about cake. And who doesn't love cake? I love cake. You love cake. We all love cakes. It makes us happy, right? So, my friends, I'm going to leave you today again with a very personal episode. But as I always leave you, stay safe, stay grateful, and stay creative. I love y'all. Big kisses. See you next week. My sweet, sweet friend, if you liked this episode, if you love this podcast, I will kindly ask you to leave me a started review, whatever you're listening to this episode that is available on Anchor, Spotify, Apple Podcast, and I think a couple of other ones. But in any of those, just leave me a review, leave me a couple of stars or 5 stars if you like it. So people will find this episode, the algorithm would put it out there, and more of our K community will benefit from it. Share it with your friends. Download the episode and share them. Share them on your social media and tag me because I will answer you back. Of course, I will. And send me comments, send me your review, send me your feedback. Even if you don't agree with anything that I say, I would love to hear your opinion. You can find me in any of my social media accounts. I will be leaving the links here on this episode description. I'm on Facebook as The Art Cake Experience. I am on Instagram at Christina_The Art Cake Experience. Or you can even find me on YouTube, my YouTube channel, The Art Cake Experience channel. So thank you so much for listening. And please leave me your review and leave me your comments and your feedback. I would love to hear what you have to say about any of these episodes.